Good, just take 3 more breaths here. Start to walk that right hand back under your right shoulder and sweep that right leg back, coming back to your table. And just taking your 2 blocks here in front of you for melting heart pose. Just resting your forearms. Maybe bend your elbows, palms together, and rest your head on the earth. Bringing those palms to the back of your head. Just letting your heart melt down. If this is too much, just taking your regular child's pose, or just resting your forearms on the blocks, letting your fingers and wrist dangle. Just stretching our chest here, upper back, shoulders. Just modifying anything you need to modify. If you don't want to use the blocks, you can just remove the blocks and place your elbows on the earth. Taking 5 breaths here. Just slowly coming up, moving those blocks up to the side. And just see if you can walk your hands and arms to the left and place your right hand on top of your left hand. Inhale to lengthen and see if you can drop that forehead down again. Exhale. Keeping those arms straight and letting your hips relax. Take 5 breaths here. Just slowly walking those hands over to the right side, just off your mat, and placing your left hand on top of your right. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, dropping your forehead. Just feeling that stretch. The arms, the triceps. Maybe that QL muscle, quadratus lumborum. Just under your ribs and above your hips. Your lower back. Good. Just slowly walking those hands back to your table and just moving any props out of the way. You have a blanket under you. Just moving that off to the side. Coming to our dolphin pose. So just dropping your forearms and see if you can grab your elbows and then plant your hands back out. Rooting down into your forearms and hands. See if you can tuck your toes and lift your hips up to the sky, dropping the crown of your head down. And just bending your knees. Just rooting down into the forearms. See if you can gaze back at your toes. Maybe shoulders over elbows. Just finding a gentle dolphin. Squeeze your belly. Find your breath. And And drop your knees. Just stretching back to your child's pose. Just taking a breath here. Good, just coming back. Bringing down into those forearms. Try that again, dolphin. Tucking your toes and lifting your hips up to the sky. Gaze back at your toes, letting your head and neck release. Shoulders over elbows. Using your core here, pull your navel toward your spine. And drop back down, taking your child's pose. Good, one more time. Pressing into your forearms, making sure you can grab your elbows here. Move down into the hands. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up to the sky. Finding your breath here. Good, dropping back down. And this time, walking those fingers forward, tucking your toes, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Good, belly towards thighs, bending those knees a lot. And so you can gaze forward, walking to the front of your mat. Uttanasana. Bending those knees a lot. Belly to thighs. Shirt is getting in the way. Just shaking your head gently, yes and no. Just letting your belly rest on your thighs. Good. Start to walk out to the wide side of your mat, taking a wide stance here. As wide as your feet can go. And inhale, hands on hips, halfway up, flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Just gazing through your legs. Pressing your hips to the back wall. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, see if you can interlace those hands behind your back. And press those knuckles up to the sky. Just stretching those arms, shoulders. And breathing here, letting the crown of the head relax. Good. Releasing those hands to the earth and walking back to the front of your mat, coming back to Uttanasana. So you can interlace your hands behind your neck and just letting the hands sway, helping you forward fold a little bit more, bending those knees. Gazing through your knees to the back wall and pressing your tailbone up to the sky. Good. Release those hands, exhale, plant them and step it back, downward facing dog. Bending those knees a lot and straightening your legs. Gazing to the back wall. Shaking your hips right and left. You can spiral those biceps, externally rotate those biceps out. Rooting down to your first 3 fingers, squeezing your inner thighs. And just slowly see if you can wave forward to a high plank. Shoulders over wrists, hips are low. You can always drop your knees, modified plank. Exhale, back downward facing dog. Inhale, keeping your feet right where they are. High plank, drop your knees. Letting your hips and pelvis fall forward. One more time. Squeeze your belly as you exhale, downward facing dog. Lifting that right leg up to the sky. Three-legged dog. As you exhale, bend that knee into your chest, look forward, step that right foot in between your hands. Coming into crescent lunge. Having your strap close by. Rooting down into that ball of your back foot. Both hips are pointed forward. Just check your front toe. That knee is bent to the second and third toe. And scoop your belly in. Turn those back toes forward. So we're just in a crescent lunge here. Yep. Find a nice stance. Maybe shorten your stance if you feel a little wobbly. Shoulders over hips. And just picking up your strap here. Gomukhasana arms. So just taking that strap and doubling it. You take it into your left hand and pat yourself between your shoulder blades. Just hold on to that left elbow with your right hand. Just opening up your chest first. You can stay right here. Bending into that front knee. Push your heart up to the sky. Or you can take the bind, bringing that right arm behind your back, walking those fingers up. Right elbow down to the earth, left elbow up to the sky. Just checking that left hip, pulling it forward. Maybe take a wider stance, walk that right foot out to the right side of your mat. Feel a little wobbly. Connecting with your breath here. Good, have a bend to that back knee, just a little bit, crescent lunge. One more breath as you look up. And exhale, release those arms. Plant those hands down to the earth. And step that right foot back, downward dog. Inhale to a high plank or modified plank. Just drop your knees here. Lower down to cobra, chin on the earth. Sweep your head, neck, and chest up, elbows close to your ribs. And push the earth away as you come into child's pose. Good. Taking 5 breaths here. Long breath in, long breath out. So notice if your mind is wandering, keep bringing it back time and time again. Good. Your next inhale, coming up to your table. Walking those fingers forward. Tucking your toes. Downward facing dog. Left leg up to the sky. Inhaling nice and long. Exhale, bring that knee into your chest. Gaze forward, step it through. Crescent lunge, grabbing your strap along the way. Finding your balance first. Walk that left foot over to the left side of your mat. And root down into both feet. Growing nice and tall. Strapping your right hand. Patting yourself on the back. That's it. Root down into your feet. Gazing up. And maybe just hold onto your right elbow at first. Opening up your chest. Baby back bend. Push your hips forward. Letting those shoulders relax. And then if you want, taking the bind, left hand comes up, Reaching up as high as you can. If you can reach your fingers, you don't need the strap. Just finding your drishti and rooting down into those feet. Easing up if you can. Just notice where you're feeling it and breathe into that tension. One more breath here. And slowly release that strap. Planting your hands, stepping it back. You can always take a child's pose whenever you need to take a rest. Downward facing dog. High plank. Come to low plank if you want, or chaturanga dandasana, lowering halfway down, elbows by your low ribs. Upward facing dog, onto the tops of the feet. And you can take a child's pose or downward facing dog. On your exhale, taking 5 breaths wherever you are. Let's keep that now. It's nice and warm in here. Now we have hot yoga going on. But if you're in downward dog, think about squeezing your inner thighs to the back wall. Externally rotating your biceps outward. Rooting down into your first 3 fingers. And letting your neck and head release. Gazing through your knees to the back wall. All meet back in downward dog. Lifting that right leg up to the sky, 3-legged dog. And stepping it through this time, warrior 1. Turning those back toes 35 degrees, finding your stance first before you rise up. Good, finding that breath. Hips are forward, chest and hips are forward, warrior 1. Bending that front knee in line with that second and third toe. So turn those back toes forward a little bit more. And line your heels up. Chin and chest are forward. Good, so see if you can take your hips here, pull your belly in, and turn everything to the front of your mat. Coming into eagle arms, open those arms nice and wide. Left elbow into right. Palms coming together. Root down into your feet. You can always lift that back heel and drop it down. Finding your balance. Slightly lifting those elbows to make space between your shoulder blades. And pulling your belly in. And finding that balance with your breath. Just trying our humble warrior here. Dropping those elbows to the inside of your right knee. Maybe the hands come to the earth. Chin can be on your bicep. And move down into your feet, rise back up. Still in that warrior 1 legs. Inhale, looking up. Squeeze your belly, exhale, drop those elbows to the earth, hands to the earth. One more time. Inhale, breathe into those shoulders. Big space between the shoulder blades. Push those elbows forward, away from you. Good. Exhale, forward fold. Drop those hands down onto the earth and step it back. Downward facing dog. Rolling forward, high plank. Taking your vinyasa. Lower all the way down into your belly. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale, child's pose or downward dog. 5 breaths here. Wherever you are, focusing on your breath. Breathe into those shoulders. Good, if you're not in downward dog, we'll all be back. Lifting that left leg up to the sky, stepping it through to warrior one. Planting that left foot in between your hands and lining up that back heel with your front heel. Just lifting the back heel a couple times. Find that stability first before you rise up. Chest and hips pointed forward. And just taking that stance. Find your balance. Pulling your navel in and just dropping those shoulders down your back. Reach up to the sky. Check that front knee. Is it bent right in line with that second and third toe? Good. Turn those back toes forward. That's it. If you can take your hands to your hips and just step that back foot forward. Maybe wider to get over. Yeah. Just finding your balance here. Walk that left foot over to the left side of your mat. If you take a wider stance, don't be afraid to. And turn that right hip forward. So both hips are pointed straight ahead, warrior one. Arms coming out to the sides for our eagle arms. And right elbow on your left. Good, dropping your chin in your bicep. Pulling those elbows away, make space between your shoulder blades. Gaze at that little hole you made through your wrists. Connect with your breath first. Find that stability from your feet to your legs, to your core, shoulders, finding that strength. Squeezing your navel in. See if you can drop your elbows, fingers to the earth for humble warrior, inside that left knee. Move down into your feet to rise back up. Maybe opening up your heart a little bit more. Squeeze your belly, humble warrior. Good, one more time. Inhale. Finding that balance. Taking your time. Inhale up. Exhale, squeeze your navel in. Dropping those hands. Downward facing dog. Take one long breath here. Lift that right leg up to the sky. And just stepping it through to the front of your mat, coming into pyramid. You'll be grabbing your blocks here on either side of your right foot. And walking that left foot in. Both legs are straight. All 10 toes pointing forward. Nice flat back. Inhale, gaze to the front of your mat. And exhale so you can drop your nose towards that right knee. Just pulling that left hip slightly forward, right hip slightly back. Feel that hamstring stretch. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Just gazing to the back wall. Good, next breath in, coming all the way up. Hands on hips. Good, see if you can reach back and hold onto your wrists or your elbows. Maybe take a wider stance in your pyramid. Finding that balance. Inhale, look up. Opening up your chest. Relaxing those shoulders. And see if you can exhale, forward fold. Over that right knee. Gazing to the back wall. Maybe feel this in your calf now. Stretching those shoulders. Good, sweep back up, pressing into your feet to bring yourself back up. And release those arms, shake them out. See if you can take namaste, reverse namaste. So bringing those palms behind you, fingertips touching. See if you can get the palms together. Think about those namaste hands. It's really tight, just grab your elbows again. You can do the namaste hands. Just bring the palms to the lower back and forward folding again. You can always interlace your hands and press the knuckles up to the sky, whatever's calling out to you. And releasing those hands to the earth and stepping back, downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. You can always take a child's pose. Walking it out for 3. Getting ready for pyramid on the other side. 2. And 1. Lifting that left leg up and stepping it through. Feet are about 2 to 3 feet apart. You can get both legs straight. If you want those blocks, place the blocks in front of you. Planting your hands in the blocks and lifting halfway up. Maybe take a shorter stance. So pressing your hips to the back wall. Forward fold. Nose to knee. You can always bend that front knee a little bit. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, belly to thigh. Forward fold. Good. Root down into both feet. And rising up here. Find that bind on the other side, reaching back for opposite elbow. Good, gazing up to the sky. Inhale as you look up. And exhale, forward fold. You can always take a wider stance, walking that right foot out to the right edge of your mat. Breathing into the shoulders, the hamstrings. Pressing into your feet, rise back up. And either taking those namaste hands or interlacing your fingers. Inhale as you look up. Exhale, forward fold 1 more time. Nose to knee. Just looking back to the back wall, releasing your head and neck. And unwinding those arms, releasing those hands back to your blocks, and step your right foot to meet your left. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Good, rising all the way up, coming into our mountain. Take a few breaths here, palms at your heart center. Maybe just letting those arms relax by your sides. Rolling those shoulders, big circles. Rolling them forward. Just taking your feet a little wider than hips distance and just letting those arms fling back and forth, bending your knees, relax those shoulders. I told you it was going to be shoulders today, right? Just inhale to one side, exhale, just lifting that opposite heel, protect those knees. Good, so coming to the side of your mat, just taking it a little wider here. And turning your right toes to the front of your mat, coming into warrior two. Back foot is parallel. Bending into that front knee. Just check it. See if it's over the second, third toe. And opening up your chest. Good. Gaze over your front middle finger. Just checking your arms. See if they're one straight line from fingertip to fingertip. So just relaxing those shoulders. See if you can lift that right palm up. And then drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Feel that stretch. Your ear to your shoulder. Just breathing into that space. Rooting down into your feet, the outside soles of your feet. Pulling your navel in. And just back off if this is too intense. Your shoulders, your neck. Good. Take 3 more breaths here. Just think about reaching those fingers to opposite sides of the room. Good. Just releasing that neck back, gazing back over that right middle finger, warrior two. Taking that to the other side, taking that wide stance and turning your left toes into warrior two. You can relax those arms for a minute. Just roll your shoulders out. Taking warrior two now to the back of your mat, checking that back knee. So with that second and third toe. And hips and chest are pointed to the side of your mat, stretching your fingers. Maybe gripping your fingers, just stretching your fingers here. And turning that left palm up. Dropping your right ear to right shoulder. Wherever that may be for you, feeling that stretch. Your ear to shoulder. While you hold that warrior two. Just notice any tension or stress and breathe into that space. You're holding on to your jaw. Just open and close your mouth. Good. Big breath in. Big breath out. Pressing that left palm back over and coming back to the center. Walking back to the front of your mat. Back to your mountain and just shaking those arms out. Inhale up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant those hands, bend your knees, step it back, downward dog. Drop your knees and take a child's pose. This time, see if you can reach back for your heels for scared rabbit. Dropping the crown of your head and reaching those hands for your heels. Letting your shoulders relax. Maybe bringing those knees a little closer, rounding your spine, if that's okay. Always tuck your toes. It's a nice knee stretch. Maybe you can rest the body here. Resting your shoulders, belly on thighs.